we're down by the creek. It's time to make the water crossing. I think right across there is actually going to be the shallowest. Maybe right in the middle. I don't know. Need to wash my boots off. They're all covered with mud anyway. Very nice creek though. Trying to remember if last time I came through here it had water in it or not. There's a little sort of intermittent creek by the campsite that I'm going to camp at, so I wonder if it's going to have water in it. That would actually be pretty cool. But a lot of neat rocks to play on too if you're into rocks. I'm sure that there's some artifacts around here somewhere. This is the connection between the connector number 4 and the north loop. So the north loop comes down this little hill here and then makes a sharp turn and goes that direction. And you can barely kind of see, I can get this to focus here on the map. So let me show you. So we're right here. And so right up here, you see this trail that comes down here? Right up here is the spring. This trail though, this little side trail right here, is not on the map. So if we look at the map, we're right here. There is no trail that comes along over here. So I don't know if they've changed the trails and removed that one or not. But we'll head on over to the spring. The things you find on the trail. This is a purple vaporizer of some sort. It's just lying right here in the trees, in the leaves actually. So we'll pick it up and throw it away on the way out. Alright, we made it to the spring. You can see a little bit of water's coming out. So we will fill up one of our bottles. I have the stainless steel Guyot, which I'm drinking out of, and I also brought a 1 liter smart water bottle. So what I'll do is I'll fill that up and I'll drop in a little portable aqua tablet, and that way I'll have water for later, just in case there's no water near the campsite. And if I decide to use it before the 4 hours, then I can always boil it as well. So we got the Moore's pot, so if I need to make up a lot of water for tomorrow morning and there's water available, I can boil a significant quantity, provided I have fire, which I don't think should be too hard to make. But this is one little thing I got for Christmas. I wanted to show you guys this. This is the Lucy, I think is how you pronounce it, L-U-C-I. This is a Lux, the Lucy Lux by M-Powered, and it's an inflatable solar lantern. So I'll be doing a little video on that later, but we'll see how that illuminates the campground. And I also got a one of those UCO candle lanterns as well. So we're gonna mess around with that a little bit. I thought it'd be fun. But as you can see here on the Accurite, it is 59 degrees out. So crazy. But we're just gonna take a little break here and have some beef jerky and stuff. But that's sort of the loadout on the circuit. You know, mainly it's sleeping stuff, quilt, sleeping pad, that sort of thing. The tarp and skylines and all that stuff fits right here, and it's kind of bulky with that Graver ground sheet I'm using, so you know, not too bad. Here's another little spring. This one's not on the map, but you can see this little rock feature from the trail. I figured I'd come check it out, but that's pretty neat. You can see it's seeping out from down here, but it's not actually flowing over the rocks. Looks pretty muddy though. You know, this looks like it flows down to the creek. Now, the old trail, the one that I was wondering about, I think it comes over this direction and actually goes on the other side of this little creek, I think. Because there's some signs over there that say, you know, don't go this way. So I'm assuming that that's where it used to be. Well, there's a little bit of water running. Should be enough to boil up, should we need to do such a thing. So here's the camp. There's a lot of blowdown over there. And up there, which I could probably harvest for firewood. It's good. Bunch back there too on the other side of the little creek. And then here is the campsite. And you can do a tarp right here between these two. Between this tree. Although it's not too stable. But do a tarp right there. It's pretty flat. Now, it was 3 years ago that I camped right there with my tent. And it was the very first solo camp. It was 14 when I came in. I think it got down to about 9 that night. And I had an old 35-degree bag, maybe 45, I don't know what it was rated for. Certainly not that cold. And I had a fleece little liner that I had made. I had all my clothes on, and I bought sweatpants on the way out at Walmart, double XL, to go over everything. I woke up so cold in the morning I couldn't even start a fire. It was crazy. So that's where it all started, and so that's where we'll camp tonight. Alright, so this is what I got. It's basically a pup tent. That's it. Stakes on 4 corners. I didn't end up using all of the tarp, but so I just kind of bunched up the slack in the back in here. As you can see, got the graver down as a space blanket. There's not going to be any rain tonight, so I'm not worried about that. You know, otherwise I would have tried to do something different here with the doors. But and then I just ran off my ridge line, another line over to my trekking pole, keeps the top up, and I staked out. So total of 6 stakes. It's really loose here in the back. I'm hoping if it gets windy it doesn't blow too much. I'm going to set my pack back there and things like that, so hopefully it'll keep it from flopping around. So shelter is made. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do firewood. We've got a little bit over here. I don't know how good it is. I dragged over a chunk. That looks pretty decent, so we need to start cutting it up and get it split before the sun goes down, which it's trying to do. So I made a slight adjustment to the shelter. I made it longer because the ground kind of slopes a little bit towards the fire pit, and so my feet would have been kind of sticking out the end. So I had to make a stake right there just to keep the back from flopping in. But there you go. I ended up using a total of, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9 stakes, and I brought 8. So, you know, I know how to do it. So that gives me some more room in there, as you can see. And I can have my head all the way in the back, and my feet won't be too far sticking out. That way I don't have to worry about any dew or anything getting on my down bag and keep my feet cold. Although I may take my wind jacket and just kind of wrap up my feet. This is, I guess, where a bivvy would come in handy. The dirt all around the mud pit has turned to mud, actually the fire pit, but it has turned to mud. And I'm slowly processing firewood. A bucksaw would be awesome. I might have to look into that. The Laplander is great, but it just, it's a lot of work, you know? So, but we're just keeping on. It's about 4 o'clock almost, 10 to 4, so. Sun should be going down soon, so hopefully I'm gonna try to get as much firewood as I can for a little while, and then I'll mess around. Two woodpeckers up there. One of them's on this tree right in front of me. Apparently they're not getting along. So, woodpecker fight. Well, we're getting the fire going. It's starting to get a little chilly. It's about 43 according to the little Accurite thermometer. Got the bear bag hung, and so we're going to get some coals going here. And we're going to bake up some bannock in the Moore's pot, so that should be interesting. Stick around for that. Alright, so the light's starting to get away from me, so I apologize about the headlamp here. But what we're going to do is we're going to bake up some bannock. I think I'm going to have ramen for dinner. But this is a bannock. Now, bannock is super easy to make, and what we're going to do is we're going to bake it today. So this is my Moore's pot, and these are two just little foil things. So what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these in upside down, okay? And that's going to go in there like that. And then we're going to oil this with a little bit of the olive oil, add some water to our bannock mix it all up in the bag, dump it into here, and then we're going to take that and set it in just like that, okay? And then we'll put the top on, and then we'll move the fire a little bit and just set it up on the coals. Okay, so bannock is super easy to make, like I said. My normal recipe is about a cup of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of salt, and that's pretty much the base. This is actually sort of a half recipe. Sometimes I'll do, when I do a half recipe, I'll still do like 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt and baking powder. That's about it. Now to the base, you can add all kinds of stuff. So in here I have, instead of regular salt, I used garlic salt. And I also have some garlic powder in here, about a half a tablespoon of garlic powder. So this is going to be my garlic bread. So if I was doing this in the breakfast, you know, in the morning, or for a breakfast type thing, I like to put in brown sugar and raisins. And you can fry that up, and I may try that tomorrow morning. We'll see how that works. But what we're going to do is we're going to mix some water and put it in here and make some bannock. Alright, so that's what it looks like there. You can see I've got some herbs and spices, just a little Italian blend, and you mix it up in the bag, and then when you pour it in, cuff the bag to the outside, and that way it doesn't get as messy, okay? So we're just going to carefully, I'm going to actually turn the camera off because otherwise it's going to go everywhere. You ever get the feeling there's monsters out there?